South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem is suing the Biden administration over the Mount Rushmore fireworks display that was supposed to happen on the 4th of July, but has since been canceled by the National Park Service. South Dakota is trying to bring that back to Mount Rushmore, saying it is the best place to celebrate the nation's birthday. Let's talk about this. I'm Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer, but I'm also a legal and political commentator here on YouTube. If you like that sort of stuff, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. All right. As I stated, this is South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, who has been stalwart in the face of pressure from the federal government in upholding freedom, liberty, and responsibility. She is now suing the Biden administration over this proposed Mount Rushmore fireworks display. There was a big fireworks display last year after Trump spoke at Mount Rushmore, and they want to do a similar thing this year. That was the first fireworks they've had since 2009, and it is probably a pretty cool place to go watch some fireworks, especially on the 4th of July. It's got a big symbolic value, and it's a huge draw to South Dakota. So South Dakota definitely wants to fuel their tourism, to bring people in, to celebrate the nation's history, and to do it at their giant national monument, right? That is the idea here. So let's take a look at this article. This article is from the New York Post. I'll have it linked down in the description below if you want to check it out. There's a pretty important link that I'm going to talk about, but I have to talk about it in a very YouTube-friendly way. They don't like the uncomfortable realities about what that link might say. It's very scary to give you information, so I'm going to have to be careful about how I talk about it. I know. We live in this world now. That's where we are, where you can't just say what you need to say about things anymore because someone will get offended. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem sued the Biden administration on Friday for canceling a planned 4th of July fireworks display at Mount Rushmore. Republican governor is asking a judge to order that the permit be granted expeditiously so the Independence Day celebration can be held at the iconic national monument. Mount Rushmore is the very best place to celebrate America's birthday and all that makes our country special, the federal court filing says. After telling us they'd circle back, the Biden administration has not responded to our request to uphold the memorandum agreement between the state of South Dakota and the National Park Service to host a safe and responsible national celebration and fireworks show. And that's what this is about. They had an agreement, a memorandum agreement with the Park Service, and since Joe Biden has come into office, he has, or they have, or whatever has revoked that agreement. So it was already in place. They made it while Trump was in office, probably. And now they're saying, nope, we're not going to do that now because of COVID. That's what they're saying. Now, as a note, Kristi Noem has not issued any orders that mandate either masks or shutdowns of any businesses in South Dakota ever. They're the only state. She's the only governor with the spine to stand up to the Trump administration, the Biden administration, the CDC, and anybody else and say, no, you know what? We're South Dakota. We'll tell you how we want to run our state. You don't tell us. They didn't do any mask mandates, no business shutdowns, no mandates. And they managed to somehow survive. I mean, I assume there's only like 3 people left alive in South Dakota. They must have all had a massive pandemic-related die-off. That's the only conclusion we can come to. But South Dakota shirked it the entire time. And they said, this is our state. We will run our state the way we want to run it. You don't get to force us to do anything. And guess what? That really pisses off people like Joe Biden and the many tyrants in office in Washington. They cannot stand the idea of a state with independent thinking and with independent methods for dealing with stuff. Now, importantly, South Dakota didn't say other states should or must or have to follow the South Dakota model. They said, this is how South Dakota is going to do it. Our medical teams have reviewed this. We have made choices for our state. And that's what the states are supposed to be. That's what they're supposed to be. And they are a constant reminder to the federal government of exactly where their power comes from. Their power comes from us and the states. We grant those things to the federal government. They don't have them. They're not inherent. They're derived from our rights and the states' rights. All national government power is derived from that. That's the authority with which the Constitution was written and infused with its ability to be the law of the land. And South Dakota has exemplified both core principles that go into that, which is maximum personal liberty combined with personal responsibility. You have to take responsibility for your actions. If you go somewhere during the pandemic, you may get sick. That is your responsibility. It is your fault for doing that. You have to own that action. That's part of what freedom is. And so much of our country has forgotten that that's a core tenet of freedom, that you own your own actions, that it blows my mind. I don't understand how so many people have forgotten that that's what we're supposed to do is own the results of our actions. So many people want the government to be responsible for what we do, but it just isn't. South Dakota is a reminder of that. And again, they're ticking off the right people, we'll say. All right, moving on. Earlier this month, the National Park Service denied a request by the Mount Rushmore state to reprise last year's fireworks show, which followed a speech by then-President Donald Trump and marked the first pyrotechnics there since 2009. You can see the picture. Obviously, a very cool and inspiring place to celebrate the nation's birthday, to go ahead and say, yeah, look what we did. We carved our legacy out of a mountain. We put 4 of the most impactful presidents up on that rock for everyone to come see, for everyone to come up and say, this is what Americans do. And I would strongly encourage anybody to get out to Mount Rushmore. If you've never been, it's a really cool place to learn a lot about the nation's history, and the history of the mountain itself is really, really exciting. It's a great place to take kids. Oh, and by the way, it's outdoors. It's outdoors in the open air. You know how all those sporting events and everything is starting to be opened up because they've said that outdoor events are safer and safer and safer? Not this one, though. Not this one, though. Look. I mean, outdoor events seem to be safer, and we're opening them up for sports teams, but I mean, not for tourism on the 4th of July. Why would we do that? I have a feeling it has more to do with South Dakota and Kristi Noem than it has to do with any semblance of science. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. All right, so here we go. National Park Service cited the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and said it was only prudent to make plans based on the best available science and public health guidance available today. Oh, thank you. South Dakota is the only state in the nation that never imposed a mask mandate or shut down of businesses. And then here we go. This is the part that I have to tiptoe around and be very, very clear. I am not advocating against recommendations by the CDC or anyone else. You should listen to all of their guidance and make healthcare decisions based on the maximum and best amount of information available from official sources at all times. Last year, a study blamed the state's annual Sturgis motorcycle rally for nearly 20% of all the coronavirus cases diagnosed nationwide in August, saying that more than 460,000 mostly maskless bikers turned it into a super spreading event. I encourage you to click on this link in the article down below and follow it up over to this article where you will see that the state health officials have noted that the paper was not peer-reviewed. It didn't seem to account for schools reopening after the rally ended. It has other problems with it as well. Kristi Noem herself called it said this report isn't science, it's fiction. Under the guise of academic research, this report finds nothing short of an attack on those who exercise their personal freedom to attend Sturgis. This report was not issued by the CDC, by the way. It was not an official government sanctioned study or anything like that. And the study also, it came out before some of the diagnoses would have been able to be made. It was an estimated economic impact study from a university in California about South Dakota. And you should read the study and the commentary and criticism on it. It wasn't peer-reviewed, so you'll be one of the only people to have read it. Noem 49 blasted that analysis by researchers at San Diego State University Center for Health Economics and Policy Studies and the IZA Institute of Labor Economics as fiction and an attack on those who exercise their personal freedom to attend Sturgis. So that's her opinion of it there. Again, I suggest reading about that study. And this is not me advocating for anyone to do anything contrary to any guidelines or anything like that. YouTube, I'm being very clear here. This is my encouragement of people to find all of the official health information that they can from the actual official sources and make the best decisions for their life and their health and the health of those around them. South Dakota wants to have their open-air fireworks event. The Biden administration does not, and I think that's because they are vindictive against Kristi Noem for being attractive, for being for having a spine, for standing up against the federal government, for being all the things that Joe Biden doesn't do, wouldn't do, and for all the things the Democrat governors have refused to do the entire time. And that is where Kristi Noem stands up for her people's rights and for her people's liberties, and does so with grace and dignity, and no one else seems to be able to do it. That burns them up. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below. I think they should have this thing by July 1st. This should be a good time. Everybody's going to be vaccinated by then, right? Big promises of the administration. That's a long way away. We'll see what happens. Talk to you in the comments. Peace. Peace.